Hi everyone. Once again, welcome back and welcome to in my channel today. We are on the day number 2 of security incident response techno-functional training day 2. So yesterday we discussed about that what is security and what is vulnerability. We see there are a lot of reasons that why a company is not able to detect it and record it in a proper manner because we are not having the right doers, not skill, maybe training, working the silos, all the things will be there. Before we go to understand the security incident response from ServiceNow perspective, let's understand a report. This report has done a survey and find out that it takes 287 days to identify and contain a breach. I already opened this for you in my laptop. So this is what the report I'm referring. Securityintelligence.com. You can see the 2021 and you can see here that they simply saying that it take 287 days. This is what this. Compared to overall average 287 days, increased level remote work appear to be make containing a breach take nearly a month longer. It means if any breach happen, then this is what the days it take. So now we can say almost 3/4 of a year just go in that particular part. When I read this particular report, I was so shocked to see that come on, we are spending a lot of time in that particular part. Means almost out of 365 to 87 days just gone in that particular part. And we can save this if we have a good tools on the place, we have a collaboration, we have an integration on that particular place. This is not only the one thing. What it says specifically is that it take approximately $4, $4 million to get a average cost of a data breach. Let's see that figure as well. If you can see. Where is I read it? Let me show you. Identify more to explore this one. Need about somewhere this one. See, average cost of compromised credential breach. It is a one example. 4.37 million it charge. It cost this much amount. And if you scroll down, you will get more and more figures on that particular part. 3.28 million average breach cost with mature zero trust strategy. 5.0 million average breach cost without zero trust strategy. So now we can see if I download this complete report, I can get a lot of new data which is helpful for me to be understand that part. See, $4.24 million average total cost breach in 2021. So we can imagine that how much amount we're losing it in these security incident. And to to reduce this cost, to reduce this effort, ServiceNow come into the picture and they bring something called security incident response. Okay, and the reason that why these things be happening, that why these many losses, these many breaches are happening, because there are some unpatched vulnerability, undiscovered vulnerability, which are kind of a loopholes in our system, which creating a problem in that particular part. Okay, we have some plan, but that's not be foolproof plan by which we can save our security incident and this particular amount here. The reason being because there are many tools who work in silos. Let me give you the examples that for the access control we have a ServiceNow, we can use ServiceNow, we have a SailPoint as well, we have Okta as well. For incident response, we have Splunk. Specifically, everybody know that what is Splunk tool here. For malware, we have something called Palo Alto is one of the tool which is very famous in that part. And Tanium, T-A-N-I-U-M, Tanium is one of the tool. For vulnerability, we have Rapid. For the network security, we have Cisco, we have Jupyter. And multiple tools are there which work in silos completely. But there's a need of an R to bring everything together if we want to save the cost, if we want to be reduce the number of security incident. I'm not saying that we will 100% save the cost, but yes, if we bring this tool together, then definitely we can do that part. Now the question come, Atul, how to identify that if a breach happen, what is going to be impact on my system? So for that, ServiceNow provide us a CMDB or the CI model. You can see here, right? So we discuss about the current states, that is what is the current state at point of time. We have a different tools which we discuss, and now we are going to be discuss this CI relationship. I'm not going to be discuss much deep into the CMDB part, that what is CMDB CI, but I want to be highlight something that maybe there is a outage on this particular place and there is some breach on this particular place. We are not able to predict it. We are not able to identify it properly. So what ServiceNow says here, that we have to be answer these four questions. What asset we have? That is the first part. Very, very much important, that everything is not asset for me. So we have to be identify that what asset my organization, my company have. Second, we need to be see that how they are related with each other. Like everybody know, on the ServiceNow world, if I go, CMDB has a relationship, that CI and CI has a relationship, would run on, work on, used by relationship, parent or child, all these things. So we have to be identify that how they are interrelated. Third, we have to be find out that what is the purpose of these assets. Maybe on the paper we're saying the purpose is X, but on the actual ground, the purpose is something different, and we are not monitoring. And last, who monitor and what? Means who is going to be monitor these assets, these CI specifically, and what should be maintained. Maybe a server is already and out of the life now, but still we are maintaining it. We are monitoring it. The reason can be it is a production server. We cannot decommission it very easily. So this particular graph, because in the service now and specifically in the security incident response or the response, these graph play a very, very, very vital role here. So we have to be understand these things, that how or what asset we have, how they're related, and what is the purpose of these assets, and who monitor and what we need to be maintained in that particular part. And the problem is that there's a few reasons, like we understood or we misunderstood that these are the areas of breaches. When we move forward, we will able to understand these concepts in depth as well. We are able to see that who is owning this asset. Maybe multiple owners, maybe single owner, maybe group owner, maybe team owner. We are not able to find out that part. So these are the few reasons which create a problem statement here. So it means if I want to be summarized here, again, I'm happy to be go back to my Skype for the participant part. But here, if I need to be summarized here, security is something that we have to be secure so that unauthorized access cannot be done. Vulnerability is something which we have a threat or danger that can be happen to our systems. Or vulnerability basically a weakness in the systems or in the procedure or maybe in the internal control or implementation part. Then we see that where we are at point of time, what is the current status or current state of our incident, how much time it will take, what cost we have to bear if this thing happen. And now we understand that how we need to be identify that if a breach happen here, how it is going to be impact here, if any outage is there, how it's going to be impact to the lower or upper part specifically, or lower or a top down or bottom up, how it's going to be impact on that particular part. Now let's proceed to further to understand little bit more about ServiceNow. Okay, so ServiceNow says, okay, I agree that we have issues. That's fine. We have silos is the main issues. Okay, but how ServiceNow support me to solve this issue quickly? I'll not put the word solve. I put the word resolve to these security threats specifically. Issues nahi hai. Issues maybe later on. Now we have a threat that it can happen, that can happen. Okay, So what ServiceNow says that number one, ServiceNow give a platform where we can integrate different security products. As I say, we can integrate with Splunk, we can integrate with Palo Alto, we can integrate with Cisco, Jupyter, we can do that part. Second, we can or ServiceNow provide a automatic prioritization method in the security incident that what should be the priority for this particular incident. Third, we can use the threat intelligence. You can see here threat intelligence. I'm coming to this point as well that how it's we basically work here. Then we can determine that what response need to be go. Because let's take example, if someone try to attack on someone, definitely that person need to be respond back. Maybe he need to be run, he need to be kicked back, or he need to be save himself or herself. This is what the response. So this response word is very, very, very important in our discussion because we have security incident response. So we need to understand that what is security incident and what is response we have to give on that particular part. Then we can say review the past incidents, that what happened if when this type of security incident happened and how we resolve it that part. So these are the 5 or 6 tips which ServiceNow says that you can use and you can build a secure system which can help you to track and resolve your incidents quickly. And for that, ServiceNow give us this framework. This is a high level picture, or I can say the complete picture, which I can say security operations, SecOps. If remember on the day one, we say that SecOps, we are working on the SecOps under the technology excellence. This is what we are talking here. So this has a 4 major things. Number one, security incident response, which we are going to be discussed in depth. Vulnerability response, that if some kind of a threat, not threat specifically, if some kind of a vulnerability happen, unpatched vulnerability happen, then how to handle. Threat intelligence, again, how what is threat, we need to be discussed in that in the upcoming slides. And then configure compliance, that what I'm following should be compliance and to support this force. So according to my experience, I say 1, 2, 3, and 4. Security incident response, vulnerability response, threat intelligence, and configuration compliance are the 4 different products available in the SecOps, but these will work together with workflow and the automation. These are the key areas which help them. Also, there is intelligent automation engine as well, which help ServiceNow and other tools to anomaly detection, something unusual happening, to detect that part, put the predictive modeling, that is something happened earlier, what we have done, what is the root cause, can be the things, and then the peer benchmarking, and finally we can use the performance forecasting, that what is going to be impact on that part. And to support these 5, to support these, we have a service portal, we have subscription, knowledge management, service catalog, workflow, developer tool, reports, everything is there. And under that, we have a multi-instance, which is secure and compliant and scalable. It means if I take, this is the base 1, base 2, and this is the top layer. Base layer, middle layer, and the top layer, which we as a user are going to be use this particular area specifically. Okay. Hope there's a no question on this particular part till now. Now the question come that why we need the security incident response on the place. I'm not going to be, again, I'm saying that I'm not going to be discuss more depth of other than security or maybe vulnerability or the threat intelligence. So this is a high level life cycle. There's a threat, we need to be detect, we need to be analyze, we need to be contain, and we have to eradicate, which means we have to be resolve it, we have to be close this. If there, let's say if there's a no ServiceNow tool in between, then these you can see separate tools work in the silos for the detection purpose. Splunk is there, Azure is there, AWS is there, Proofpoint is there, Palo Alto is there. Monitor multiple event source and tools. That is the first thing we have to be do. Then due to multiple sourcing, there are few miss as well, and we have to create them manually. Anomalies and virus total, FireEye. These are the different tools where we need to be create these incidents or the records manually. And then we have to be search these failures or these incident in the multiple records. Is this happened earlier? How this be happened? Where is going to be impacted? So we have to be reach out to Active Directory, we have to be CMDB, JMF, and SCCM. But still, we are not able to resolve our incident on time. Now the question come, how ServiceNow supporting us on that particular part. So this is what we are bringing here on that particular part. This is a very high level process where ServiceNow supporting or showing that how the security incident response work. So it start from the draft, analyze, contain, eradicate, recover, review, and closed. We will discuss this in depth. So what ServiceNow say? Okay, I have a event management tool number one. So integrate your security products or MMSP with the this particular part. It means bring everything, every data in ServiceNow. No worries. It can be SIEM, it can be via catalogs, we can raise via incident form, email integration, or socials. Once you bring that part, let me bring on the number two, that is my CMDB, where I will doing prioritization. I will calculate risk score. I will see business impact, priority, and urgency on that particular part. So once I do this part, it means instead of doing or checking this stuff in the multiple tools, let's bring everything in ServiceNow and get it here. Then from here, we can use the threat intelligence. MITRE, ATT, and CK are the different terms which we're going to be discussed in upcoming session. This is important from the examination perspective as well. So we can use STIX, we can use TAXSI. These are the different terms example mentioned here. So here we do the threat intelligence, that is something happened earlier as well, is something loophole is there, and then we see that how to respond this particular incident. We can maybe create incident, problem, change, or we can use the playbook, we can use the knowledge articles, all the things we can use it here. And then we have to be do this particular remediation very fast, because as we know that if we keep the things for the 287 days, then it is going to create a problem for us in the later on part. And after that, once that incident get resolved, we have to be pick up that to review the post incident as well. So this is what in the security incident, it's the best practice that all the security incident must be done the review as well. Post closure, the review should be done so that we can get the lesson learned, we can get the new stuff to understand on that particular part. Now before I move to the next part, let's little bit understand two or three things from the different tool perspective which we see here, that security incident response. Okay, as we know that security incident mainly is to be deal on the security incident coming from the third party, threat detection we have to be do, we have to prioritize on that particular part, we have the workflow, we have a email integration to do this particular area. Now what the vulnerability response here? So for the vulnerability, I can say vulnerability we can do with the national vulnerability database. Like I remember that in the GRC, when I was learning that GRC part, there was a unified control place. I guess it's called UFC, unified controls kind of things. So in the same manner, we have a national vulnerability database as well. We can integrate this with the third party vulnerability scanners as well to identify that it's actually vulnerability or not. And then we can put the response integration and we can take the action on that particular part. I have very less knowledge on these two concepts or these three concepts because it was not the part of my course completely. And also one more thing, maybe you have a question that when we go for the security incident response examination, there are two things we have to be do. Number one, there's a fundamental book, and number two, there's a implementation book. Fundamental book cover all these four: response, vulnerability, threat, and configuration compliance. But the implementation book only and only dedicated to on this part and cover the other stuff as well. So now we are on the configuration compliance. Again, same thing happen to be secure configurations we can take, we can integrate, we can prioritize, all the things will be happened here only. At the last, it's a threat intelligence. col- what I can say, collect the different intelligence from the multiple external feeds to get the threats, to get that particular stuff in one bucket, to enrich that. Because my knowledge says that to reach on the security incident, there must be some threat first. If we have some fear in mind, only then we will secure it. Like I take an example, the last day one as well. I have a fear that I will die anytime. That is a threat, fear in my mind. To secure that, I have to be take LIC. So this is the trigger point, I can say. So what ServiceNow provide here, that we can get feeds from the external sources, and then we can enrich that what can be converted into the security incident response. So technically we are not going to discuss much, but functionally we are going to be discuss this particular exam. And also for this exam, the main thing is that we need to be understand the theoretical part. I will take you on some demos as well as per my best capacity, because on the PDI we cannot do a lot. Like major incident, major security incident, we cannot work on, not do on the PDI part. It's not available on the PDI. But yes, normal security incident we can show and we can discuss on that particular part. So this is what I want to be cover in this particular session of the day 2. Hope you like this particular session, and I will come back again with some other video, not some other video, in the continuation of this particular part. So now we are going to be discuss that how ServiceNow mainly build this particular part, that what are the maturity models, innovation, modernization, transformation, and then we proceed to the one by one into our topic. So we will discuss the roles, we will discuss the plugins, everything which we discuss as a part of the ITSM, like a standard structure. The same thing we're going to be discuss here. So till the time, guys, thank you so much for watching this. Have a nice day. See you again soon.